The Chicago skyline glittered through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Emma Carter's penthouse office, a constellation of ambition that mirrored the empire she'd built. At 26, she was the hidden CEO of Nexus Technologies, a cybersecurity firm whose AI-driven Sentinel system protected half the Fortune 500. Her reflection in the glass, sharp blazer, dark hair pulled tight, eyes like steel, betrayed none of the ghosts that haunted her. But tonight, something had slipped through the cracks. A single envelope lay on her desk, unmarked save for a wax seal stamped with a crest she hadn't seen in 7 years. A lion entwined with thorns, her family's crest. Her pulse quickened. Who sent this, she thought, fingers hovering over the seal. And why now? The office was silent, save for the hum of servers behind a locked door. She broke the seal, unfolding a note written in precise, taunting script. You thought you buried us, Emma, but empires fall when roots are Her breath caught. The words weren't just a threat. They were a promise, laced with the venom of a past she'd fought to erase. 7 years ago, her family, James, Margaret, Ethan, had cast her out, their voices still echoing in her mind. She closed her eyes, and the penthouse dissolved into memory. 7 years earlier, Emma stood in the marble foyer of the Carter mansion, a backpack slung over one shoulder, her laptop clutched like a lifeline. At 19, she was all sharp edges and defiance, her dark eyes blazing against the opulence of her father's domain. James Carter, a titan of Chicago's financial elite, loomed over her, his face a mask of disgust. Margaret, her stepmother, stood at his side, lips curled in a sneer. Ethan, her 16-year-old half-brother, leaned against the staircase, smirking. You're throwing it all away, James spat, his voice low and lethal. A finance degree, a partnership at my firm, a legacy, and you choose this? Scribbling code like some basement hacker? Emma's jaw tightened. How do I make him see, she wondered, that coding isn't just a job, it's who I am. She squared her shoulders. It's not scribbling, Dad. It's building. Software's the future, not your stock portfolios. Margaret laughed, a sound like shattering glass. Building? Oh, Emma, you're delusional. You'll be begging on the streets by Christmas. Or crawling back to us, Ethan added, his smirk widening. What's the plan, sis? Live in a van, coding apps for pizza money? Emma's chest burned, but she refused to flinch. Why do they hate me for wanting more? I don't need your money, she said, voice steady. I'll make my own way. James stepped closer, his shadow swallowing her. You're no daughter of mine, not anymore. Get out. The words hit like a physical blow. Emma's vision blurred, but she held her ground. You're wrong about me, she whispered. You'll see. Margaret shoved a wad of cash into her hand. $50, maybe less. Take it, she hissed. It's the last you'll get from us. Emma let the bills fall to the floor. Keep it, she said, turning for the door. I don't want your pity. As she stepped into the Chicago night, the door slammed behind her, the sound final as a guillotine. She had no plan, no safety net, just a laptop and a fire in her gut. What now, she thought, the city's lights blurring through tears she refused to shed. Where do I even start? Emma's first refuge was a dingy co-working space in Pilsen, rented with the last of her savings. The startup she joined, Quantum Byte, was a sinking ship. 6 coders, a buggy encryption algorithm, and a CEO who spent more time pitching to VCs than debugging. But Emma saw potential in their tech, a kernel of brilliance buried in bad management. If I can fix this, she thought, it could be something big. She worked 18-hour days, fueled by coffee and spite. The lead developer, Marcus Reed, was a wiry 30-something with a chip on his shoulder. You're just a kid, he scoffed one night, catching her rewriting his code. What do you know about encryption? Enough to know your algorithm's leaking like a sieve, Emma shot back, pointing to a flaw in his key exchange. "Run my patch. It'll hold." Marcus glowered but ran the code. The system stabilized. "Dumb luck," he muttered. But Emma caught the grudging respect in his eyes. Is he an ally or a threat? She wondered. Marcus had a knack for sabotage, whispering doubts about her to the team, but she needed him, for now. 6 months in, Quantum Byte was on its last legs. The CEO announced they were folding. Emma saw her chance. If I can salvage this tech, I can start over. She spent nights dissecting the codebase, isolating the encryption core, a system she later dubbed Sentinel. It was lean, adaptive, unbreakable. Her ticket out. She pitched investors in a borrowed blazer, her voice steady despite the sweat on her palms. Sentinel isn't just encryption, she told a room of skeptical suits. It's AI-driven, predictive. It learns threats before they strike. Give me a year and I'll secure every bank in Chicago. A venture capitalist, Lena Voss, leaned forward. Bold words for a 20-year-old with no degree. Why should we bet on you? Emma met her gaze. Because I've got nothing to lose, and I've already built something your competitors can't. Lena's smile was thin. You've got 6 months. Don't waste my money. With Lena's seed funding, Emma founded Nexus Technologies. She hired a skeleton crew, including a reluctant Marcus, and worked from a warehouse loft. Every line of code felt like a brick in her empire, but doubts gnawed at her. What if Dad was right, she thought, staring at her laptop at 3 a.m. What if I'm not enough? At 22, she launched Sentinel. A major bank signed on, then another. Nexus skyrocketed. Emma became CEO, but she stayed in the shadows, letting her COO front the media. Why draw attention, she reasoned. The work speaks for itself. Back in the penthouse, Emma's eyes snapped open, the note still clutched in her hand. The past felt closer than ever, its claws sinking into her present. She crossed to her desk, powering up her private terminal. A quick scan of Nexus servers showed no breaches, but her gut screamed danger. Who knows about my family, she thought. And what do they want? Her phone buzzed. A text from Lena Voss. Call me, now. Emma's stomach twisted. Lena rarely texted after hours. She dialed, bracing herself. Emma, Lena said, her voice tight. We've got a problem. Someone's probing Sentinel's core. Not a hack, more like a test. They know our architecture. Emma's mind raced. Who's got the resources for that? State actors? Competitors? Or someone closer, Lena said. There's chatter in financial circles. Your father's firm is backing a new cybersecurity startup. Guess who's advising them? Emma's blood ran cold. Bingo, Lena said. And there's more. Marcus Reed's name popped up. He's consulting for them too. Marcus, the name hit like a betrayal. Did he sell me out? Emma wondered. Or is this bigger than him? She gripped the note, the lion crest staring back. Her family had always played dirty in finance, insider trading, leveraged buyouts, but this felt personal. Lena, I need everything you've got on that startup, Emma said, and tighten Sentinel's protocols. No one gets in. Already on it, Lena said. But Emma, watch your back. This isn't just business. Emma hung up, her reflection in the window now a stranger's. She opened a locked drawer, pulling out a faded photo. Her, James, and Ethan at a lake house before Margaret, before the rift. She'd kept it all these years, a reminder of what she'd lost. And what she'd gained. Why can't I let them go, she thought, tracing Ethan's smile. A knock at the door jolted her. Her assistant, Priya, poked her head in. Miss Carter, there's a package downstairs. No sender, security's holding it. Emma's grip tightened on the photo. Another move in their game? Scan it, she said. If it's clean, bring it up. Priya nodded, but her eyes lingered. You okay, Emma? You look spooked. Emma forced a smile. Just a long night, Priya. Keep me posted. Alone again, Emma stared at the note. Empires fall when roots are exposed, she murmured. Her family thought they'd broken her. They were wrong. But as she powered up Sentinel's diagnostics, a new question burned. What if they've been watching me all along? The terminal pinged, a single alert flashing red, an unauthorized access attempt traced to a server in Chicago, her father's city. Her city? Emma leaned forward, fingers flying across the keys. Let's see who's hunting me. Emma Carter sat in the dim glow of her penthouse office, the Chicago skyline a silent witness to her vigil. 3 screens flickered before her, each streaming live feeds from Nexus Technologies headquarters. One showed James Carter, her father, in his corner office, reviewing contracts with the precision of a man reborn. Another captured Margaret, her stepmother, barking orders at administrative staff, her poise masking a hunger for status. The third focused on Ethan, her half-brother, hunched over a compliance dashboard, his youthful arrogance softened by focus. They were thriving because of her, and they had no idea. How does it feel to live in my world? Emma thought, her fingers tracing the lion and thorns crest on the cryptic note from last night. The unauthorized access alert still lingered in her mind, traced to a Chicago server. Is it you, Dad? She wondered, eyes narrowing at James's feed. Or someone using you? Her private terminal pinged. A message from Priya, her assistant. Package cleared. It's a thumb drive. No metadata. Want it now? Emma's pulse quickened. Another move. Bring it up, she typed, then leaned back, glancing at a faded photo in her drawer. Her, James, Ethan, a moment before the fracture. Why do I keep you close? 3 years ago. Emma stood in a borrowed conference room, pitching the acquisition of her father's failing law firm, Carter and Associates. Nexus was flush with cash, Sentinel's success fueling expansion, but this wasn't just business. It was personal. Lena Voss, her lead investor, paced the room. You're buying a sinking ship, Emma. James Carter's firm is bleeding clients. Why risk it? Emma's voice was steel. Because I can turn it around. Their talents wasted on outdated practices. Nexus can digitize their workflow, integrate Sentinel, and dominate legal tech. Marcus Reed, now a reluctant consultant, snorted. Or you're settling a score. Don't let family drama tank our profits. Emma shot him a look. Does he know? This isn't about them, she lied. It's about Nexus Law, an AI that predicts legal outcomes, cuts costs, wins cases. The firm's a stepping stone. Lena raised an eyebrow. And the jobs you're offering them? Legal advisor, admin, compliance? You're playing a dangerous game, keeping them close. They'll never know it's me, Emma said. Shell companies, proxies, our COO as the face. I'm a ghost. She'd orchestrated it perfectly. Carter and Associates was absorbed, its staff retained. Anonymous offers went to James, Margaret, and Ethan, tailored to their egos. They accepted, praising Nexus's meritocracy in emails Emma read via back channels. She watched them settle in, their gratitude to an unknown benefactor fueling her quiet triumph. And her guilt. Am I saving them or trapping them? Back in the present, Emma plugged the thumb drive into a sandboxed laptop. A single file appeared, a grainy video. She clicked play. Her own voice echoed. 19. Defiant. In the Carter mansion. You're wrong about me, you'll see. The camera panned to James's sneer, Margaret's laugh, Ethan's smirk. The disownment, recorded. A voiceover cut in, distorted. They thought you were nothing, Emma. Now they're yours. But who's pulling your strings? Her stomach dropped. Who has this? The video wasn't on her laptop that night. She'd checked. Someone else had been there, watching. She cross-referenced the access alert. The breach targeted Ethan's compliance logs. Is he involved or a pawn? She pulled up Ethan's feed. He was arguing with a colleague, gesturing wildly. "Nexus is fair," he snapped. "No nepotism, no old boys club. That's why I'm here." Emma's lips twitched. "You're here because I let you." A knock. Priya entered, holding a tablet. "Town hall prep's done. You're still set to reveal yourself as CEO?" Emma nodded, her throat tight. "And Nexus Law. It's time." Priya hesitated. "Your family's on the RSVP list. Front row. You sure about this?" "Am I?" Emma forced a smile. "I've waited 3 years, Priya. They need to know." The town hall loomed. Emma stood backstage, her tailored suit a shield against the crowd's buzz. Nexus Law's demo was loaded. An AI that analyzed case law, predicted verdicts, and drafted filings in seconds. But its data hunger, scraping user patterns, gnawed at her. Is this too much power? She overheard James in the front row, his voice carrying. "Nexus is the future," he told a colleague. "No firm in Chicago matches this culture." Margaret chimed in. "It's merit-based, unlike my stepdaughter's pipe dreams." Ethan laughed. "Yeah, Emma's probably coding in a basement somewhere." Emma's fists clenched. "You're about to eat those words." The lights dimmed. She stepped onto the stage, the crowd of 500 employees and clients erupting in applause. Her COO, Daniel, introduced her as the visionary behind Nexus. Gasps rippled as Emma took the mic, her face projected on massive screens. 3 years ago, she began, Nexus acquired a failing firm. You know it as our legal division. What you don't know is who built this company. Her eyes locked on James, Margaret, Ethan. "I'm Emma Carter, your CEO." The room froze. James's jaw dropped. Margaret's hand flew to her mouth. Ethan's eyes widened, searching her face. Emma pressed on, voice steady. "And tonight, we launch Nexus Law, an AI that will redefine justice, starting with the truth." She cued the demo. Nexus Law's interface glowed, predicting a case outcome with 92% accuracy. But mid-demo, the screen flickered. Red text flashed, Sentinel compromised, data leak detected. The crowd murmured. Emma's heart raced. "Not now." She signaled Daniel to cut the feed, addressing the room. "A test of our resilience," she said, forcing calm. "Nexus doesn't falter." But her eyes found Marcus in the back, his smirk unmistakable. "You." Post-town hall, Emma faced her family in a private boardroom. James's face was stone. "You played us," he said. "All this time, we were your puppets." "You were drowning," Emma countered. "I gave you a lifeline." Margaret's voice was venom. "You spied on us, manipulated us. You're no better than we were." Ethan, silent, stared at the floor. "What's he hiding?" Emma wondered. James leaned in, his voice low. "You think you've won, Emma, but that video? That breach? Someone's been watching you longer than you've watched us, and they're not done." Her blood ran cold. As she turned to leave, her terminal pinged. A new alert. The leak's source. A Nexus Law prototype access from James's office. He knew. Emma Carter's penthouse office felt like a war room, the Chicago skyline swallowed by dawn's gray haze. Her screens blazed with Nexus diagnostics, the live feed from last night, her own office violated, looping in her mind. The message, "Now we show you ours," had come with a new breach signature, pinpointed to Nexus Law's core. Someone's inside, she thought, fingers flying across her terminal. James? Ethan? Marcus? The lion and thorns crest, etched on a folder in James's office, burned in her memory. "What are you hiding, Dad?" Her phone buzzed. "Priya, Emergency board meeting in 2 hours. Lena's demanding answers on the breach. Marcus is pushing for a security audit. Emma's jaw tightened. Marcus. His smirk at the town hall haunted her. Red herring or traitor? She replied. Stall them. I need time. She pulled the family photo from her pocket. Her, James, Ethan. A fleeting moment of warmth. Why do I still care? The breach's timing, post-reveal, wasn't random. Someone wanted her exposed, vulnerable. She opened the thumb drive's video again, the distorted voice mocking. They thought you were nothing. A new scan revealed a hidden watermark. Carter and Associates, her father's old firm. He's been planning this. Emma's investigation led to Nexus Legal Division, where James, Margaret, and Ethan worked. 3 years ago, she'd integrated them, watching their gratitude through feeds. Now, she scoured their access logs. Ethan's compliance dashboard showed anomalies. Unlogged queries to Nexus Law's AI, flagged as predictive overrides. Was he testing it or sabotaging it? James's contracts included a nondescript vendor, Thorn Solutions, linked to a Chicago IP matching the breach. Thorn's, the crest. She confronted Marcus in his office, his desk cluttered with Nexus Law specs. You're too cozy with the legal team, she said, voice low. What's your play? Marcus leaned back, smirking. You're paranoid, Emma. I'm just doing my job, but if you're pointing fingers, check your brother's logs. Kid's been sloppy. Sloppy or framed? She left doubt gnawing. A flashback hit. Ethan 3 years ago praising Nexus in an email. No nepotism, just merit. She'd smiled then, hoping he'd changed. Now, she wasn't sure. The showdown came at Nexus's annual gala, a glittering event for 5,000 stakeholders. Emma had rigged the system to trace the breach live. As guests mingled, she monitored from a private suite. Nexus Law's interface projected on her screen. A new alert flashed. Core initial initiated. The source, James's office. She stormed to the legal wing, finding James at his desk, a Thorn Solutions contract open. The crest glared from the letterhead. It's you, she said, voice steel. You've been undermining me since I let you in. James looked up, unruffled. You think you're untouchable, Emma, but Nexus Law? It's a house of cards. I fed your AI bad data through Thorn Solutions. One push and it collapses. Well, she demanded, heart pounding, I gave you everything. Because you humiliated us, he spat. Parading your success, spying on us. I built a legacy and you stole it. Ethan burst in, eyes wide. Dad, stop! He turned to Emma. I didn't know. He used my login, said it was compliance testing. I swear. Margaret followed, her face pale. James, you said this was to protect us. Emma's chest ached. Protect? She pulled up Nexus Law's logs, projecting them. Your tests leaked client data. You wanted to tank me, Dad, but you miscalculated. She activated a failsafe, isolating the breach. Nexus Law rebooted, its predictions stabilizing. The gala's main screen, meant to demo the AI, instead flashed Jamie's contract exposing Thorn Solutions. Gasps echoed from the ballroom. James's face drained. You're done, Emma said. But I'm not firing you. Stay under scrutiny or leave. Your choice. In the aftermath, Emma met her family in the boardroom. Margaret's voice cracked. I was cruel, Emma. I thought you'd fail. I was wrong. Ethan's eyes glistened. I looked up to you, before. Everything. I should have said it. He slid a USB across the table. The video's source. I found it in Dad's files. I'm sorry. James stood, silent, then spoke. I underestimated you, but we'll never be family again. Emma nodded, the photo heavy in her pocket. I didn't need your love to succeed, she said, voice breaking, but I wanted it anyway. She scaled back Nexus Law, limiting its data scope, and went public with the breach, earning trust for transparency. Marcus, cleared but sidelined, left Nexus. The Crest's secret, a fraud James hid years ago, stayed buried, a final gift to Ethan. 6 months later, Emma stood in a Chicago community center, mentoring young coders. A girl, 15, showed her an encryption app. "Think it's good enough?" she asked, and smiled, seeing herself. "It's a start. Keep building." She'd retired the family photo, replacing it with a Nexus logo, reworked no thorns. Her empire stood, not on revenge, but on potential. As she left, the skyline gleamed, hers to shape.